Hello everyone, welcome back to the daily Leetcode practice session. And let me share my screen with you. Okay. The first problem today from the easy bucket is long press name. So the crux of the problem is you are given two strings. One is the actual name of a person and one is the typed whatever he has typed on the keyboard. Now we have certain constraints on this is like if a person types a character on the keyboard, it may be printed once or multiple number of times. Okay. Now, given the actual name of the person and what he has typed, we have to just tell whether he actually wanted to type his name and which because of suppose some error in the keyboard got printed differently. So like in this case, the name of the person is Alex, and based on his typing, he can we can see there's a double A, then L, then double E and X. So we can see that he's trying to type Alex, but because of the keyboard error, it got A got printed twice and E got printed twice. Similarly, if we have the name as Said, and we see try to map the typed words into the actual name, we can see S got printed twice, and then we had A, and then so on and so forth. So we just have to find out whether the typed word is actually something which he was trying to write it for his own name. Does the problem make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Approaches, suggestions, methods. Anyone has solved this problem already?
Let me see. I tried this one using two pointer. So the first pointer point to string, the first string, and the second pointer point to the second string.
Okay.
Okay, and and if they match, and then I move to the next pointer, and if the next pointer of the first string is different than the next pointer of the second string, then I see if the pointer of the second string is same as the previous pointer of the first string, and if they're the same, I keep moving forward.
Okay.
And I just repeated it until like all the we process all the character on both string.
Okay, so let me share my screen, whiteboard, and then we can try to simulate what you're saying. So here's the first one, is A, E, E, T, and the other one that I can see is SSA, E, E, G, right? Something SSA, E, D, D, sorry. Right. Let's suppose this is your first pointer and this is your second pointer.
Yes. So now they are the same, and then I advance both pointer
to next ones.
Okay. So now they different. Then I see if the pointer on the second string is same as the previous pointer of the first string. So in this case, S is same as S. So I advance the next pointer on the second string.
Okay.
Now I do similar check. They both pointer are the same right now. So I advance both pointer.
Okay, so
So
you will advance this pointer as well as this pointer one step forward, right?
yes.
Okay. What next? Then we'll
So
move
now,
forward.
now, yeah, now they are both the same. So I advance both pointer again.
Okay, so both of them are same. We'll advance both of them.
Yes. So now E, they are not the same. E and D are not the same. So I look at if D the same as the previous pointer of the first one. So, so D in this case, it's not the same as E. So I fail this case.
Okay, so yes. Okay, yeah, I think this will make sense. Yeah. So essentially, what we are doing is scanning the second one, and anything which is redundant, just removing, ignoring that and moving forward,
Yes.
which is not going to be mapped. Oh,
Yes.
makes sense. So what I did was similar to this, but in a different way. So what I did, I used both of the strings, and I just moved forward and counted the number of continuous ones. Suppose this is s equal to 1, and here I have continuous s equal to 2. Right? So this one and this one, the first one has less number of s, so it's definitely achievable. Next, I move ahead and see how many continuous a's are there, because that's the next character in the initial one. And if it is same or greater than the next one, it is still possible. Next, I move to the next one, which is E. Here there are two E's, but then I have only one E here. So then this condition fails because I cannot satisfy the condition of both the E's present from the actual name into the type string.
Okay.
So that's where I stop the matching. And if I'm able to match all the elements, so suppose there's only one E, I'll move forward and I'll see 1D and then I'll see 2D, and my initial string has already completed. That means I'm able to get the name from this, the type characters here are actually this one. Does that make sense?
Yes. So you count the number of current character and
Right.
compare. Yeah. Okay.
Any questions on this approach or the approach which was discussed before this one? Guys, anything? If no, we can move forward to the next question.
One quick thing, actually, is there any other approach besides the two-pointer approach per se?
I am not sure. So these are two approaches that we discussed, and I only have gone through these two from the.
But even your approach is also kind of like the two-pointer approach, right? I mean, you're doing the same thing, moving around.
Yeah, the same thing, but just in a different way. Instead of doing it one by one, I'm just taking bunch and all of them in a bunch.
Okay. Can we quickly talk about the time and the space complexity of the algorithm?
Yeah, sure. So the time complexity of this will be O of the length of first one plus length of second, which essentially comes down to whatever is the maximum of this one. O of max of L, M, just assuming L and M are the two different strings, length of the two different strings.
And the space
And
would be O of 1?
Space is constant because I'm just using two variables, which will store the count of constant variables. Now, like in this case, it would be 1, and this would be 2.
Got it. And this is actually a very classic problem. Like, if you look at two-pointer approach, trying to merge sorted arrays and things like that, this technique is very, very common. So if you haven't coded this up, I would actually strongly encourage folks to code it up. there are quite a lot of edge cases that you will actually run into. Like, one of the strings is null, what if the previous character is this, and there's a bunch of different things. Just
Right.
make sure that you have the right pieces in place. There are, I don't know if I kind of slipped out a little, but I don't know if you talked about a scenario where you could have duplicates in the first string itself. Like, there could be like 3 S's in the first one, and
Yeah, we discussed that. We
yeah,
had
so
initial one had SAEED. This was
yeah,
the
there you go,
initial
right?
question.
You just have to make
Right.
sure that that is like that is specifically covered, and it's very easy to trip up and not handle that scenario. So making sure that you're designing the test cases for this is important. Otherwise, I think it's a very simple question. The problem solving of it is very straightforward. Coding should be very straightforward if you know what you're doing. So if you haven't written it, please write the code and then share it in the team chat in the Slack.
Yeah. Okay. Can we move on to the next one?
I think we're ready to move on to the next question. Go ahead.
Oh.